Welcome back to another episode of JD and Jess. And again, if you've been here with us for the past couple of weeks, we thank you for watching, subscribing, and hopefully you're getting something out of this. So let's move into our next conversation. Something that we heard at church, and it was just something that we felt was important.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things. Somebody says something, you're like, yes, let's talk about that. So I'm going to start off with, what does loving the process in a marriage mean to you?
Oh, it doesn't. It means no. It means that sounds sucky. I'm not good with processes. I like the finished result. So.
But you're also a step A through Z kind of person.
Right. So, okay, I'm one of those people that has to make a goal. I like lists.
Yes.
So I'll make a list and I'll put things that are ridiculously easy and achievable to help motivate me to get to the things that are harder to achieve. So if I'm cleaning, deep cleaning the house, I might put make my bed on the list or brush my teeth, something I know I'm already gonna do. I don't always make the bed. That's more.
Yeah, that's me.
That's you. I've been trying, but I'll put brush my teeth because I know that it's achievable, and I know that no matter what the day brings, I can do that. So I'm gonna use that, something I know that I can do, to help motivate me. So that being said,
yeah.
I like the idea of having smaller goals to help me along the way. So in the process of marriage, something that I know that I can do well, part of my personality is telling you things, right? I use words of affirmation. So I'll tell you that you're handsome, or I'll ask you, how can I serve you today? Or I'll use my words as something that I know that I can achieve. Now, follow through with whatever that brings forth can be probably more my downfall. But I know that I can edify you, and I can encourage you with my words.
You do a great job encouraging me with your words all the time, actually. What is the process though? Again, we're 10 years in. There's been a lot of process.
There has been.
And there hasn't been a lot of love in those processes. But
no, there's actually been a lot of selfishness.
Yeah.
Truly.
But what when we're talking to the viewers, what would be the process? If they're thinking, okay, I want to hear what love the process means in a marriage, what are we getting into? What are we talking about?
Well, you have to learn to love it. It's not something that comes naturally, so finding the pieces of feeding the marriage nutrients, like a baby, right?
Yeah,
for a baby, you have to feed it. You have to, make sure he has rest, make sure he is growing properly. There are things, there are even milestones that you want to achieve. So in marriage, it's the same way. Maybe the hard conversations suck. We're not going to love that part, but we're going to learn to love it because I actually was just talking about this with some girlfriends yesterday. The hard conversations yield so much good,
there's a lot of healing in the hard conversations.
Yeah.
Whether it's hard conversations, we mean hard conversations.
Yeah.
Saying something that you regret, talking about something that you did wrong.
Yeah.
Finally saying how you feel about your partner.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Those are the hard conversations. However, instead of letting it fester, and you've waited 6 months and you've just been so pissed off at the world and your spouse, you just let it sit there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now that we have come to a point where we know, and I think we talked about it last time. We need to talk about it. Can I talk to you about something before that was, now Now it's, hey, we need to talk about something. Okay, let's see what it's about. Even though sometimes it might be that hard conversation, there's a sting to it,
Yeah.
but we're done. There's no holding on to that. Okay, you've been feeling this. I've been feeling this.
Yep.
Now we're getting it out in the open. Now there's no more, it's not a secret, but in your mind, this hidden secret of, this is what's upsetting me. This is what's upsetting you. I don't know why I'm upsetting you.
Something that I've noticed too is like whenever you're holding on to something, it also becomes your filter.
Yeah.
So like the best example that's coming to mind right now is the most recent whenever we were at the date a couple weeks ago, and it just like hit me that the whole reason I had been really insecure was because I saw a text or a message or something, remember? I can't even remember what the like main thing was that even triggered it, but like since seeing that and telling myself, oh, I'm over that, but then like that changed my filter for a little while. So now I'm fighting for your attention. I'm fighting literally nobody, you know, like, but in my head, there's this filter of somebody else might have his attention or, you know, like, so not getting that out in the open. But I will say too, is that how you approach things is important because I don't ever want, because I had some insecurity that is stupid, to be your issue.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want that, like, oh, I've unburdened myself. Like, now that's your problem to bear, because then that can change your filter.
Yeah.
So talking about it the right way is also important. But so going back to processes, you have to learn to love it. Yeah. You don't just automatically like, oh, I want to do all the things in marriage and I want to do all the hard stuff too. And I have an autoimmune disease. So sometimes sickness, it puts you out. And in health. And then you have bad days whenever it comes to sickness. Yours is more mental, but like we don't automatically love that.
Right.
You know, whenever you meet somebody and you put all that out on the table, you're like, oh yes, absolutely. We're going to do this together. And then the bad days come and you're like, oh, screw you, buddy.
Yeah. I didn't sign up for this.
I didn't sign. Yes.
You absolutely,
so many times.
I've
said that so many times. Don't ever say that. That is a terrible, terrible sentence, because that also changes a filter for you, for your spouse. You did sign up for this.
You did.
You did. It's a covenant.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's so many things when it comes to the process of marriage. It's not just the hard conversations. It's the, like us, right? So you go from individuality to, dependency on each other. Yeah. Within the home, within the family realm, right? Loving the process also means loving the spouse's family.
Oh.
Because that's a process. I'll tell you what, that's a process, because you have to remember you come from two different walks. A lot of people come from two completely different walks of life. No two people alike are raised the same way.
Nope.
So when you're trusting that process, you're learning how to raise adults. Again, kind of based on how you were raised, or whether or not you don't want to raise them that way because you don't feel that the way you were raised was successful for you.
Yeah.
Right. But, once you're in a marriage, again, you're adopting a whole new family.
Yeah.
And sometimes that process comes with people not trusting your spouse, people not liking the decisions your spouse makes, people believing that your spouse isn't the right person for you or isn't in it for you, kind of things.
So the first thing that I would say in that process, for sure, is to never go to your own family, your blood family, about any problem that you're having with your spouse.
Yeah.
First of all, you need kingdom-minded people that you would trust. So I have a group of women that whenever I'm having a bad day, I can text them, because if I didn't immediately tell them, hey, this is what I'm struggling with today, but it has to do with my spouse, they will first ask me, so what's your part in this? Because they know me and they know that it takes two to tango. And whenever we're so focused on our spouse's issues, we're not addressing our own, and you can only change yourself. So, but also at the end of the day, they will always be team marriage, because they're kingdom minded.
Yeah.
I would not go to my family about problems. I did at the beginning of the relationship, and that created so many issues. A lot. So
it's because at the beginning, well, sometimes you're going to your family in hopes that they give you the answers
that you want.
Right? Like, yeah, of course I'm
and
right.
That is
I know
manipulation,
I'm right.
by the way.
100%. Versus going to friends who are going to tell you, okay, you're right. However, this is where you need to fix it for yourself too. I've had friendships. There's a young friend of mine who tried to be my friend, but it was hard for him because I wasn't in a worldly view of things. Like, my decisions hanging out with him was because I was for him and his wife. And he literally he
stopped inviting you places.
And it wasn't because he didn't like me. It was because
no, it's because you wouldn't be a wingman.
I was not a wingman in the sense of, go dance with that girl, or hey, let that girl hit on you, or and nothing against that's them. That was their struggles. That was their walk. But for me, that kind of felt good. Like, I'm not going to be invited because I'm not going to be the wingman that you expected, because I pulled for your marriage over everything else. And I would tell you.
And he knew that those were your standards, and he was never going to overstep that. There are people, though, who, I know of times that when you were like, hey, I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with that being your friend, because they were single and they were the going out type. And, there have been a few times, though, where I did have some single friends that I was comfortable doing things with, and but having in the back of my mind, they're single. Our lives are a little bit different, and our struggles that's not ever something I would bring up to them, because that's not what they're walking through.
No.
And of course, I want different views whenever it comes to just life advice. However, this is something that is very sacred.
You don't want to take life advice on marriage from somebody who's not married. You probably don't want to take life advice on a marriage from somebody who hates their spouse. Or despises their spouse.
Or has communication issues. I mean, and I'm not saying that, like, we go through this like roster or checklist of things for our friends whenever we're coming to them for advice. But, like, first of all, we go to the Lord first. The Lord first, and Lord, what is it in me that is responding this way? Why do I not like that he is doing or saying? And then I go from there. If I think that it's a you problem, sometimes I'm able to just talk to you about it. And sometimes it's a little bit longer of a struggle, and I'm like, friends, hold me accountable because, XYZ. So I would say part of that, of the process of getting to a marriage where you're happy, comfortable, trusting, etc., is communication, but not just between each other. With those around us. And which voices you let in is important. Really important.
But it is important to let voices in. It is. You don't want to do this by yourself.
Oh gosh, no.
That's part of the process, is having a community of people that can do things with you.
My heart breaks for people whenever they tell me, like, I've just, got to this place and I don't have anybody to talk to. Why? Like, that's sad. I can't imagine not having the people that I have in my life, the accountability and the, you know, the advice and people that are just going to pray for me. Sometimes they offer nothing at all. And they're like, "Oh, well, I'll pray for you today."
Mhm.
And knowing that, like I have friends that are warring on behalf of my marriage. That's helpful. That's
And knowing,
so helpful.
and I'm going to tell you guys, our friends are the kind of people that say, "I'm going to pray for you," and they'll either do it right there on the spot, or they're praying for you. They're not just saying, "I'll pray for you" to say, "I'll pray for you." There's a lot of Christians who say that and just forget to pray. And I just
Yeah.
implore you to, when you tell somebody you're going to pray for them, make sure you do it. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be right then and there, but make sure you actually do it.
Yeah.
On the car ride home, I just remembered, oh, Lord Jesus, I just remember I need to pray for this person. Pray for him real quick. That's all it is.
That's something I think you have done a really good job of teaching me. Like, don't just say that you're going to pray for somebody. Probably what you really mean by that, if you're not going to go pray for them, is that you're going to gossip, right? Like, "Oh, just here, let me just leave this with you so you can pray about it." But really, I'm just trying to tell you so-and-so's life. But you do such a good job of grabbing my hand. Like, I won't even know who you're talking to sometimes, and then you'll be, you know, talking to somebody about a prayer request, and then you'll like grab my hand and put the phone down, and then we're immediately praying for Josh and his neck, or, you know, Brandy and her, whatever the case is, you know, like so-and-so got in an accident, and I won't even know. We're just, but I know that you know, and I'm going to believe with you.
Mhm.
So, but that's something that I think I've gotten better at because of you, because
No, thank you.
it's,
Part of the process, guys.
yeah, back to process.
Let's keep going on process.
Yeah. So another example I wanted to bring in.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, this one might get a little real.
It's always real.
So, health and fitness, right? Yeah, I did that. So health and fitness, you want that, right? There are goals. There are health goals. There are fitness goals. There are body goals. For someone like me who has, you know, physical issues, I really just want to feel good. You know, whenever I'm feeling better, then I make goals about what I want to see in my body.
Mhm.
So, like, sure, on my good days, now I want a butt. Or on my, you know, like, or on my good days, I'm feeling great. Now let me try for some abs. But for the most part, it's really just I want to feel good in my own body because I have a lot of joint issues and stuff like that. So the last few days, I have been in a lot of pain. And last night, yesterday was my long day. Tuesdays suck for me. They just do. So I got home and I'm ready to chill. You had made dinner and I was so excited. And in my head, I'm like, I'm going to get a bath. And I said, so what are you doing? And you were like, oh, I'm just waiting for my stomach to settle because I want to work out. I'm like, I get offended, right? Like, I don't want to work out, but I do now, you know, like in my head, like, you're going to work out without me? So as you're getting ready, I'm like, he's not going to motivate me. I got to motivate myself. This is stupid. So I motivate myself. I was ready. I knew I couldn't push myself as hard because literally every joint in my body hurt.
You weren't feeling well.
I was heavily inflamed. Like, it had been days of just feeling like achy, like to the bone achy. And so
let me kind of backtrack just a little bit, just so everybody knows. We have been on a health and fitness journey for quite some time. We started last year. We have pictures of we were never the people to take front, side, back pictures and all that stuff. We tried one time, just whatever. But I think we have a couple pictures where you could see how big we were.
Yeah.
I was big. She was getting just extra.
You could just tell I didn't care.
Yeah.
You know? Just living carefree.
But our bodies were not matching up with what the Lord has told us. And we knew that, you know, this is the temple that He's provided to us. And we knew that if for us to be
good stewards of that.
Yep. Good steward is going to be a big thing we always talk about.
Yeah.
But we know that if we wanted to grow spiritually as well, we had to fix ourselves physically.
Yeah.
And I had not too long ago gotten my certification to become a personal trainer.
Yep.
and it's mainly for us and my family and whoever else wants to be a part of it. But we work out, and I have to throw this too. 10-year Marine Corps veteran. You know, anybody who knows Marines or anybody in the Army, you guys know that when it comes to PT, we don't mess around. We know what to do, and we really don't. Our motivation's a little different
So different.
than other people. You know, like, hey, good job. No, shut up, do it. You know,
Yeah.
that's my motivation.
Yeah.
Quit crying, quit whining about it. You got this, right? And I'm saying that because
That's why he's saying it.
yeah, because my motivation's different, and I don't treat any, even when what she's getting to right now is she understands that sometimes that's not the motivation I need, but that's the motivation I'm giving her because
Listen,
that's how I do it.
Talking about process, and this was like whenever you told me this is what we were going to talk about, I'm like, Lord, what am I even going to talk about? Because I don't love the process. I don't like I want the end result, period.
Yeah.
Even with my list, like dumb list. I want whatever the goal is. So
That's actually a perfect example, though, because we're talking about health and fitness, and I think that's where you're going with it is I hate the process.
Yeah.
I hate working out.
Absolutely.
What I always say, I love being in shape. I hate getting in shape.
Yeah, you do say that a lot.
That's
So
we're still working on it.
Yeah. So I am ready. I go out. I'm not pumped, but I'm getting there. I've motivated myself. Who needs a man? We got this.
Told her multiple times, you don't have to work out with me today. I'm not asking you to come out here. I got this.
Kept saying it, making me more frustrated because I'm here and I'm doing it. So we're working out, and I'm pushing myself. I was doing decent.
Yep.
And then it's time for squats.
Yeah.
And this man,
big boy squats. You heard about 5 minutes ago. I want the butt.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to do what it takes to get the butt. So
it's a process.
He's making me go up in weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting more frustrated. I'm yelling. I probably cussed.
Did you? I don't know. I got video footage from outside so I can find out.
I am kicking and screaming. I'm stomping.
So literally stomping.
Crying, finally.
Yeah.
Because I was so mad because I was like, no, I've pushed myself so hard, and he just kept wanting me to go up in weight. So finally I'm like, I'm not putting any more weight on. Forgot I was a Christian for a minute. But those moments are necessary for growth. Growth isn't comfortable. And so, I love, I've learned to love running.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of our health and fitness journey now and our process. And I've learned to love that.
I hate it still, but I'll do it because I know it's necessary.
I've learned to love working out, but then there's the hard days. Same thing with marriage. There's the hard days and the process sucks. Mm-hmm. But the end result is so wonderful. Being able to sit here with you in a healed space, knowing that we can talk about anything, obviously we still have bad moments. I didn't feel good yesterday. I was an absolute brat about working out, not about anything else in life, luckily, yesterday. Yeah. But it's still a process, and I love it. I literally love it. Yeah. A friend of mine told me, the other day that there was a hard conversation with their spouse, and how cool. I was excited for them to have the hard conversation because it brings such growth on the other side.
Yeah.
And so that's whenever I talk about loving the process, that's what I mean. Because, it doesn't come naturally. You have to work at it. But whenever you learn to love it, there's growth.
It's all about healing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of healing in that process.
Yeah. Marriage can be triggering, man.
Well, it's understanding too, marriage is going to be a process your entire life.
Yes.
Right. Once you're married, You've never been married before. You've never been through those situations. You've never been through having children together. You've never been through having kids go to high school together.
Yeah.
You've never been
There's still so
through.
much we have to learn and
Yeah.
we'll have to get
We
through.
have kids that
you know?
we have kids that are about to go to high school, and then eventually they're going to go to college. Eventually,
We do have kids that are about to
so
start on the college journey as well.
yeah. So
you
it's there's so many different things in life that continue to happen, and one day we'll be grandparents. We'll get to finally see
Yeah.
what it's like to be the adults in the situation. But again, and I'm just saying that just to show, there's going to be a process your entire life of marriage. And that's why it's important to love the process, right? It's the process that's
Yeah.
going to get you through it. It's the process that's going to strengthen you. It's,
Yeah.
it really is. It's learning to love the process is like she said, I hate it sometimes,
Yeah.
but
But do
learning-
it anyways, kicking and screaming,
Mhm.
pissy, do it anyways.
Yeah.
And maybe instead of learning to love it at first, learn to fix your attitude.
Mhm.
Learn to figure out what your filter is and why you have it that way. How to shift your perspective. Sometimes that's all we need, right? Is to realize, okay, this is why I'm feeling this way, identify this, and then talk through it, or find what your resolution is for that.
Mhm.
Because whenever you fix your attitude, then you can start working on the next part of learning to love the process. Because there's joy.
Yeah.
There's joy in the process.
Mhm.
I mean, I love building a beautiful marriage with you.
This right here is actually part of our process.
Yeah.
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
Again, it took me
Talking through all of this.
talking through
Yeah.
it. I'm a video guy. I've been doing this for quite some time. It
Mhm.
took forever to finally get her on board because I believe that she has a lot of important things to say, and she's kept it to herself for a very long
Thank
time. And I see the growth that she has, and I see the leadership she has in her, and I see how her friends look at her, and I see how young people look at her. And I would forever,
I'm young.
you're young-ish. When I say young, I mean like 20s.
I know.
And but I see that in her, and I've always explained, like, I was just like, dude, I know for a fact once you start talking, like, people are going to listen to what you have to say, and you're going to save lives, you're going to save marriages based off the things that you're doing. But this again is part of the process. This was hard for her to be like, okay, I'm ready to do this.
Well, I had to prioritize it,
Mm-hmm.
and that was really difficult. But like you said, it's important.
Mm-hmm.
And, and that was something else I had to ask the Lord, not that I didn't have a good attitude about it, but I had to ask the Lord to fix my perspective on it because it wasn't a priority.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his timing is right for this, though.
Timing is always right.
Yeah, because like you said, this is something that grows us. Just sitting here talking
Mhm.
about things, already in the few episodes that we've done or shows that we've done, I have learned different things about you, or have been reminded of different things about you that can help me in being your spouse.
It's fun to even try to figure out what we're going to talk about next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's always fun too. But what does it do? It makes us go and research.
We research, we
Go
talk.
look. Hey, what is this? How does this sound? How does this sound? And it just comes to us. We don't have any real actual like agenda.
No.
We don't have like, hey, next episode. We don't know what we're going to be talking about. It's
Yeah.
kind of just what's on our mind, what we feel, what we're going through, what we've seen,
Yeah.
what we've heard, and
Kind of the hot topic for us for whatever that week is. So like last week, whatever we had walked through or watched someone else walk through that we feel like we had gone through before, this week it was the process.
Mhm.
And then the Lord gave me a fantastic example last night because of my attitude.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
Like I said. So it's good.
So loving the process in marriage first starts with learning to love the process in marriage. But sometimes you can't get there until you fix your attitude or your perspective or your filter. And sometimes that part takes work.
She's much better at putting words out there than I am. That's why I enjoy that.
Thanks. You're just full of compliments today.
I am.
Oh, it's like you like me.
A little bit. Just a little. So, love the process.
Yeah.
Learn to love the process.
Learn to love it and figure out what's in the way of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because like we said earlier, there is joy in the process. There's, you know, make goals for your marriage and figure out how to get there. But also maybe put some pretty attainable ones in place too to help motivate you. And have fun.
Yes.
Have fun.
Have fun. And maybe we'll talk about that next time.
Having fun.
Dating your spouse.
Yes.
Maybe that's a good one. Because we got a cool book we want to share with you guys too. We got to do it ourselves.
We have so much on dating.
We do.
We have great dates, but it's because we also have to put work into that and prioritize that.
You know what? Let's make that the next episode. I know we said
Okay.
normally we don't, but see, there you go.
Okay.
So if you want to hear about dating in marriage,
See us next time.
yeah, next time. And again, thank you guys for watching.
Absolutely.
Please subscribe. Share this with people you know, with other married couples, young married couples, old married couples.
Also, we want to hear from you.
Yes, that's important. Please.
What's part of your process? What was a hurdle for you, and how'd you get through it?
We'd love to hear it.
Absolutely.
We'd love to hear it. We'll talk about it on here. Maybe that'll be the first portion of our segments where we talk about people in their
Ooh,
comments. That'd be fun to
yeah.
do. Change things up a little bit.
Y'all
but
are literally on this journey together. You see how we're just coming up with this right now? I love it.
It's fun. That's great.
It is
That's
fun.
good. It's a good idea. But again, thank you guys for watching JD and Jess. And tune in next week
Yeah.
where we talk about
Dating.
it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Bye. Our high five.
Hmm.
We forgot about the high five.